Lesson 2.4, functions. There's a lot of vocabulary associated with functions and associated with this lesson, and it's really important that you remember and you get to know this vocabulary because you're going to be using it not only for a lot of this year, but a lot of next year and at least 2 other years of the math that you do in high school. All right. So make sure that you get this stuck in your brain. Okay. Relation is a set of ordered pairs. This is a tree, all right, but it's also a type of relation because we have our one x value with a one y value and another x value with a y value. So we could write it as a set of ordered pairs. 1, 2, 2, 4, and 3, 6. All right. But either way, it's going to be a relation. Okay. Domain and range are very similar, but as long as you can keep them straight, they're pretty easy to understand. So domain is the set of x values of the ordered pairs. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3 in this relation. Or if you've got it set up as a tree, it's everything under your x, which usually goes on the left. And then the range is the set of y values. Okay, so 2, 4, and 6, or everything under the y or on the right if you set it up as a tree like I have. Okay, a function is a special type of relation. So it's a set of ordered pairs, but it's a little bit different in that each x value will only have one y value. Okay, so this right here is a function because I have individual and different x values. I never repeat. Okay, if I repeat my x value, say I have another 2 down here, and I have something other than 4, maybe a 5, this is not a function anymore because I've got 2 of the same x values with 2 different y values, all right, or 2 of the same inputs with 2 different outputs, all right. We'll talk more about a function because it does take a little bit to wrap your brain around that. Okay, the independent variable is the input of a function. That's usually just your x value. Okay, we almost always use x for the input, but sometimes you could use a different variable. All right, and then the dependent variable is the output. All right, and that's usually y. So if we look at this equation right here, this is a function. This does represent a line on a coordinate plane, and it does represent a relation, a series of ordered pairs. All right, and you can see that, well, my y value depends on what I put in for my x. If I put 0 in for my x, 2 times 0 plus 9 equals 9. So my y value is going to be 9. All right, if I put 1 in for my x, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 9 is 11. 2 in for my x, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 9 is going to be 13. Okay? And you can see already that this is going to be a function because every time I change my x value, it's going to give me a different y value. And every time I put in the same value for x, I can put in 2 as many times as I want in for x, and it's always going to give me 13 as my y value. Okay, so that is going to be a function. And my independent variable, my x value, this is independent because I can put whatever I want in for x, and that lets me get my y. My y value is dependent on whatever I put in for x. Okay? And then the last piece of vocabulary we have is something called the vertical line test. And this is a test that helps us figure out if a relationship is a function. So if we have our coordinate plane and our line looks like that, straight line, okay, we can go through, and what we're looking for is if there's any x value where there's going to be more than one y value. And we can see that if I have a vertical line anywhere in here, and I take my vertical line, I'm only going to cross this function line in one place. No matter where I put my vertical line, okay, it can be over here, it can be over here, doesn't matter. It's only going to cross this line in one place. All right. If I have a function that has a curve like this, okay, and I do my vertical line test, now you can see it crosses the y value. I mean, for every x value, there's two y values, all right? Or maybe there's no y values, okay? But you're going to get more than one y value in certain places, and so this is not going to be a function, okay? All right. Concept 1, finding different representations of a function. So in order to look at a function in different ways, you're going to set up a table, all right? And that's going to help you make your tree, okay? Your x value, whatever you want to put in for it, is going to go on the left, okay, in column number 1. And generally, we start with -1, 0, and 1. Okay, and that lets us look at negative value inputs, 0 value inputs, and positive value inputs. And that's the most likely values that are going to give us a change. All right, it's also the most likely values to be close to the origin, so it's easy to graph. Okay, and then your function rule is everything over here. All right, so your function rule is going to be 2, what's my x value? Well, it's -1, so 2 times -1 plus 9. That's my function rule. And then my y value is whatever this evaluates to be. So 2 times -1 is -2, plus 9, or 9 minus 2, is going to be 7. And so my ordered pair here would be -1, 7. And that's one of the solutions to this equation. All right, do the next one. I have 2 times 0 plus 9. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 9 is 9. And 1 times, or 2 times 1 plus 9, which is 2 plus 9, or 11. And now I've got my tree made, so I am ready. I can graph this line, okay? I can graph this relation.